Remember Trump's debate in 2024? Not the one where Kamala ate him alive. I'm talking about the one with Joe Biden. Now, let's be honest here. That was a disaster for Biden. He was slow, he lost his train of thought, and Trump came off like some kind of fresh and sharp guy. But here we are a year later, and a lot of experts are raising red flags about Trump's behavior. They're saying it's beginning to match what they see in people dealing with real cognitive decline. He cuts off his own sentences, jumps from one topic to another, and even makes up weird stories like the one where he said his uncle taught the Unabomber at MIT, which just makes zero sense. Kaczynski never went to MIT, and Trump's uncle died more than a decade before the guy was even caught. But alright, I'm not gonna sit here and turn this into spin, saying that Trump's totally unfit for office. I mean, maybe he is, but it's not just because he forgets what he's saying sometimes. So let's break it all down and figure out if this is a real issue or if it's just being blown out of proportion. I'm gonna ask AI to look at Trump's behavior, tell us if he really has any issues, and even predict what kind of shape he might be in by the end of his second term. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, share this video on your socials, and drop a comment if you've noticed anything off about Trump lately. And if you have, let us know exactly what stood out. It'll be interesting to scroll through and check out your takes. Alright, thanks a lot, and now let's get into it. These days, keeping up with the news feels like diving into chaos. One outlet says one thing, another says the complete opposite, and you're left wondering what the truth actually is. That's why I use Ground News, today's sponsor. No joke, I really do use it daily, because it's not just another news app. Ground News shows you how different media outlets are covering the exact same story. Take this recent one. Trump slapped a 25% tariff on India. Over 100 outlets covered it. Left-leaning headlines focused on punishing India for buying Russian oil. Right-leaning ones said Trump just jeopardized the key alliance. But with Ground News, you see all sides, along with bias ratings, factual accuracy, and source transparency. For that story, 80% of the sources were rated as highly factual. You can also follow the topics that matter to you, US politics, global conflicts, AI, whatever, and Ground News keeps you in the loop without all the noise. So here's the deal. Go to groundnews.com/AI or scan the QR code to get 40% off the unlimited Vantage plan. That brings it down to just $5 a month, but only if you use that link. Again, that's groundnews.com/AI. The link's in the description and the pinned comment. Big thanks to Ground News for supporting the channel, and now let's get back into the video. And here we are. As you can see, I've already had it do all the research on the topic, so ChatGPT's fully up to speed on Trump's mental health, and now we're ready to kick things off with the first question. It needs to be clear, straightforward, totally unbiased, no sugarcoating, no fluff, and it should always give me its own take on whatever I ask. I'm not going to steer it in any direction, no hints about cognitive decline or anything like that. I'm just going to ask what it thinks about Trump's mental health and let it make its own call, and here's the answer. When it comes to Donald Trump's mental health, the truth sits somewhere between political spin and medical caution. There's no confirmed diagnosis, no leaked medical records. His doctors say he's in good shape, but watching him closely, especially in the last year, something's off, and it's getting harder to deny. Let's be clear, Trump isn't senile in the cartoonish way some of his critics like to portray. He still commands a room, riffs with confidence, and when he's reading a script, he usually delivers it with force. He still throws jabs at his enemies and hits applause lines like someone who knows how to work a crowd. That's not someone fully out of it, but that doesn't mean everything's fine either. In his unscripted moments, he's more scattered than ever. He'll start a sentence and abandon it halfway. He jumps from topic to topic without finishing a thought. He tells strange stories that don't check out, like claiming his uncle taught the Unabomber, or veering off into long emotional rants about windmills or toilets. These aren't isolated flukes, they're part of a pattern. Fragmented thinking, memory slips, obsessive loops, and moments where he sounds completely lost in his own head. Some of this could be ego, some could be age. He's 79. People slow down, that's normal. But the way it shows up in his speech, the impulsive tangents, the need to repeat himself constantly, the confusion over basic facts, it all adds up to something more concerning than just a few senior moments. Mental health experts who followed him closely, even ones who've been cautious before, are now saying it might be time for a formal cognitive evaluation. And they're not wrong. A president holds immense power. If there's even a chance he's slipping, the country deserves transparency. This doesn't mean Trump's completely incapable, but it does mean we're watching someone who looks less sharp, less stable, and less in control than he used to be. Whether it's age, stress, or something deeper, the signs are there, and ignoring them just because he can still give a fiery rally speech, that's reckless. Bottom line, something's not right, and pretending it's all part of the act doesn't make it go away. Well, alright, but honestly saying he's 79 and that's normal, I mean, come on. Of course the risk of this kind of thing is always higher at that age, but why are people even electing someone this old in the first place? And yeah, we all remember how Joe Biden looked by the end of his term. Actually, let's ask something about that. Does ChatGPT think Trump will finish his second term without the kind of noticeable problems Biden had? Or could it actually be better or even worse? It could absolutely be worse. Biden showed clear signs of slowing down. Stiff gait, memory issues, occasional confusion. By the end of his term, it was obvious. But here's the thing. Trump isn't some younger, sharper alternative. He's only a few years behind Biden. And frankly, the way he speaks off script now, it's not looking good. And unlike Biden, who mostly sticks to prepared remarks and avoids long pressers, Trump talks constantly. And when he does, the cracks show. He rambles more than ever. Back in 2016, he could still keep things moving, land his points clearly, and stay in control. Even if it was chaotic, it was sharp. Now, he struggles to finish sentences. He misnames people, forgets places and timelines. That off-the-cuff energy, it's gone, replaced by scattered thoughts, repeated phrases, and long, awkward pauses. This isn't just Trump being Trump, it's different, slower, more confused. You can see it if you compare him to just a few years ago. So will he finish his second term without noticeable decline? Honestly, I doubt it. The signs are already there, and he's not even through his first year back in office. Age doesn't reverse, stress doesn't ease. If anything, the pressure of being president again, plus legal problems, media scrutiny, global chaos, might accelerate it. We could be looking at a situation just like Biden's final stretch or worse. It's not about who's better or worse politically, it's about mental stamina. Biden was visibly fading by the end. Trump might get there faster and louder. Alright, got it. So, ChatGPT thinks it's only gonna get worse. But then what? Just watch it happen and do nothing? How does AI see this whole thing playing out in the end? And what plan would it put into place if it actually got to that point? I'm about to ask that next, but before I do, take a moment to hit the like button if you're enjoying the video and subscribe if you haven't already. And by the way, you can also find the full Donald Trump playlist linked down in the description. It's got everything. A breakdown of his tariff policy, immigration stuff, foreign policy, predictions of what he might do next, and even fact checks of his speeches. So if you feel like going down the rabbit hole and spending a few more hours seeing what AI thinks about Trump, make sure to check out that playlist once this video's over. Alright, now let's get to the final part. So, if ChatGPT's right, what's the best case scenario here? And what does it think should happen if things really go that far? If I'm right and Trump is already showing signs of mental decline that could get worse, then the best case scenario for America is honesty, real transparency from the top down. That means dropping the ego, dropping the theater, and facing the reality that even a sitting president needs to be held to the same basic health standards as anyone else in a high-risk job. First, his own team would have to stop pretending everything's fine. No more staged doctor notes or vague "he's in excellent health" statements. If there are warning signs, then do the evaluations. Bring in independent neurologists, release real cognitive test results, and let the public see them. That's not political, that's basic accountability when someone has access to nukes, troops, and the global economy. Second, Congress should grow a spine. Republican or Democrat, they should demand regular mental fitness check-ins for any sitting president over a certain age. Not in a partisan attack dog way, just standardized and mandatory. If we do it for pilots and surgeons, we should do it for the guy who commands the military. Third, we need the people around him, cabinet members, advisors, VP, to step up if things get worse. If Trump starts making dangerous decisions or clearly loses the ability to function, the 25th Amendment exists for a reason. It's not a coup, it's a backup plan written into the Constitution, but it only works if the people close to him are willing to tell the truth. And finally, the public needs to stop turning this into a team sport. If Trump was your guy in 2016 or 2020, that's fine, but this is bigger than tribal loyalty. If he's no longer mentally fit, pretending otherwise just puts the country at risk. We've already seen what it looks like when an aging president fades in office. We can't afford to pretend it's not happening again just because it's someone else's turn. So, my plan if it gets to that point, the vice president and the cabinet would need to meet, have the hard conversation, and trigger the 25th Amendment. That means officially declaring that the president can't carry out his duties anymore. It's not a takeover, it's a legal safety valve built into the system for exactly this kind of situation. That's how it should happen, quietly, legally, without waiting for a disaster. You don't ignore a fire just because it hasn't burned the house down yet, you deal with it before that. Same logic here. Well, alright, that's pretty much it. So yeah, by this plan, J.D. Vance then becomes president? Well, let me know in the comments what you think. Do you actually see something like this happening? Or do you think they'll keep Trump in office even if his mental health gets way worse? And as always, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that join button if you want to support the channel directly. Every bit of your support helps me make even more content every single week. And while you're still here, check out this video where I asked AI to predict the 2028 election. It picked the nominees, called the winner, and even said who it would vote for. So, thanks for watching, click on that pop-up, and I'll see you over there in just a moment.